why are you just putting everybody back?
I don't know.
Letting them catch like a 10-yard pass and then just getting them down, and then Andy's got to burn one of his timeouts, and then
I agree with all of that, but I can't get over the special teams guffaws.
That's okay.
I can't. That's not acceptable.
It is Birds 365 here on the JAKIB YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, football fans. We'll keep you company for another hour and change here today. And we've got two good guests. Rob Marty next hour. Right now, our buddy off the bench, the best substitute we've got here on Birds 365. And even though he's just as follically challenged as either myself or McMullen, he's a little younger than either one of us. Jeff Kerr, was that the best weekend of football ever in your life?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to grasp what type of, if there was a better weekend of football. I mean, if you want to count Super Bowls, I still think that Chiefs-Bills game was one of the best games ever. And I called that on Wednesday. That's going to be the Super Bowl. We're going to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen take the mantle as the new Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And I was talking with a buddy of mine last night, and he goes, you know what? I think that's better.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the greatest games of all time. I certainly said when Cincinnati, no disrespect to what Joe Burrow did, but when they were able to pull off what they were able to pull off, I said, well, the AFC Championship game is tomorrow. Essentially, whoever wins that game is going to, and we'll see. I mean, Joe's capable of putting up 500 yards on that defense, but let's start on Saturday. Boy, Jody and I were just discussing, I don't know how early you jumped on. As great as the weekend was from a playing standpoint, from a drama standpoint, I thought it was that bad from a coaching standpoint. On Saturday, it started with Matt LaFleur and Mike Vrabel, who are probably 1-2 in the Coach of the Year voting. So, how do you lose a game where you get 9 sacks? And as Jody pointed out, really 11. 2 got called back because of holding. And then you go to Green Bay. With Jimmy Garoppolo, I've never seen more poor throws by a high-level quarterback. It was like, oh, my God, just don't throw the football. And Green Bay can't win the game because of special teams all year with this team. It is unbelievable, the lack of preparation. And then it continued into Sunday, but we'll get to Sunday. Your early thoughts on those Saturday games, Mike Vrabel letting his team down, Matt LaFleur letting his team down.
Well, I did the Packers 49ers game for CBS Saturday, and I kept thinking to myself, don't make any mistakes, and you're going to win this football game 10-3 because Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to win you this football game. And really, the 49ers won that game because, in my opinion, Kyle Shanahan did the smart thing and said, you know what? I'm going to give the ball to my best player on a 3rd and 9, Deebo Samuel, and you're going to have to stop him in the snow, and they just could not do that. And the Packers defense was one of the best defenses in the league this year in terms of getting to the quarterback, and they were rocking Jimmy Garoppolo throughout the night. But I just don't know how you get a punt blocked that deep in your own territory, allowing that to happen. I don't understand. Why did this Packers team allow Mason Crosby to kick field goals for them all year? And he got 3 field goals blocked this year, and including that one from, right before the half. And I'm thinking to myself, the 49ers are only down 7-0 after all that. All they need is a touchdown. All they need was a little break. And their special teams, which is bigger than, the Packers. And I got to trash the NFC North a little bit here. This is what happens when you get to play the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears 4 times a year. And the San Francisco 49ers are out there playing the Los Angeles Rams and the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. And, basically this division is beating themselves up. And we got 2 NFC
West.
But
hold on. Didn't the Packers play the NFC West?
Did they? Yeah, they did. But they don't play each other twice a year.
4-0. 4-0.
Regular
Packers
season.
went 4-0 against the NFC West. So
Regular
if
season.
you're going to get on the Packers blew the game. But don't try and sell me on because the Packers weren't prepped
They
to
also
play
get
the
they
NFC
also
West.
get
They
6
were. They
games
played them
against
4
the
times. They
North.
beat them all 4 times during the year.
Well, both are true. The Packers were a good team during the regular season, and the NFC North does stink. It does stink right now. So it did give them a little bit of a boost, but yeah, they outplay. I mean, they were in a position to win that game easily, and they lost the game on special teams gaffes. And the quarterback didn't play well. Jody's going to focus on that. There's no question he didn't play well, but he was a hell of a lot better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And San Francisco found a way to pull things out. So and then I go back again to Mike Vrabel. I'm still trying to figure that one out, Jeff. How do you lose that football game? How was that possible?
I'm still trying to figure out how you get 9 sacks in a football game and lose. I mean, I think Joe Burrow is the only quarterback to ever. Look, the Bengals did not deserve to win that football game, not with that offensive line. And I'm tired of hearing, franchise quarterback makes it different. Yeah, you're right to an extent, but guess what? That offensive line is atrocious, and the Chiefs are going to do to that team what Tennessee did. And it might. Here's the thing: you can't score 19 points and win that game. Poor quarterback play. Again, on Saturday, Ryan Tannehill's poor quarterback play also cost the Tennessee Titans. At least but Jimmy Garoppolo got away with it because the Packers had more blunders. Saturday was just a comedy of errors in both those games.
Yeah, let me ask you something about the upcoming matchup. I know we're kind of jumping ahead. We'll do that to go back and forth. I thought in watching the final game of the weekend, Bills and Chiefs, the Chiefs didn't come close to pressuring Josh Allen the way the Bills did Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes was flushed out of the pocket, had to make more plays on the run. Allen didn't even get a chance to take off as often as Mahomes did. Early in the game, the best offensive weapon was Mahomes running the ball out of a broken down play and just taking off and running. I thought the Chiefs' defensive line didn't play all that great, and that's why Allen had as big a game as he did. Do you think the Chiefs can be as good pressuring Joe Burrow next week? And I know they won because Mahomes is magical. Or what did Danny Reid call him after the game?
Grim
the
Reaper.
Grim Reaper.
When things are grim,
And it's
he's the
Grim
Reaper.
Reaper.
That's pretty damn good nickname. Is Kansas City going to be able to get enough pressure against Burrow next week? I don't think they can do what the Titans did, but can they get enough?
Well, here's what I think Cincinnati needs to do next week. I know we're jumping a little ahead here, but
they got to score 40, number one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, too. They got to give the ball to Joe Mixon. And I like what the Bills did. They had a lot of design runs for Josh Allen. Sean McDermott everybody thought he was a little too conservative early in that game. I certainly didn't think so. I kind of like the game plan he started out with. Okay, let's try to keep this offense off the field a bit, and we'll have these long drives. And we'll run the ball. But then when the floodgates opened after Allen threw that touchdown to Gabe Davis, I just think, okay, maybe Sean McDermott's just going to go crazy now, or Brian Dable, because they're going to. How am I wording it? They wore the Chiefs defense down. That's why I thought they weren't able to get pressure on that. But again, when Allen had that 4th and 4, they did get pressure on him. I mean, that was one of the best rushes I've seen from Frank Clark and Melvin Ingram and Jerron Reed. And Jerron Reed did get to him once but it just seemed to me that the Bills' offensive line is a lot better than the Chiefs. And Joe Burrow is not as mobile as Josh Allen. We got to keep that into consideration. Joe Burrow, I'll be shocked if Joe Burrow runs for 50 yards on Sunday.
No, well, he's not going to run for it, but he could throw for 400 plus against that defense. And that's one of the things with all these coordinators this weekend, Jeff, being thrown out there for potential head coaches. A lot of those guys had some bad days. If you're Leslie Frazier, how can't you get out of there with 13 seconds? I mean, 13 seconds, the game's over. They put the picture on Andy Reid, and he was like just devastated because the game's over and all. No, it's not over. From the decision to not squib kick it, at least try to take some time off the clock. They could have downed it and taken only 1 second, but you got to try. And then, I thought it was interesting that Travis Kelce talked after the game. He's like, I'm not running the route. I'm just going to an open spot. There's a lot of sandlot football going on, Jeff Kerr. So when I look at, and I talked to Jody about this, there's going to be some head coaching hirings this week, and everybody's so sure so-and-so, insert whatever name you want to insert. You're better off getting the playmakers. You're better off getting Patrick Mahomes because they're playing sandlot football out there.
Oh, yeah. And this is what I didn't get about the whole Leslie Frazier thing. So, the whole squib kick decision aside, why are you just putting everybody back?
I don't know.
Letting them catch like a 10-yard pass and then just getting them down, and then Andy's got to burn one of his timeouts, and then say there's like 6-7 seconds left. I'm thinking to myself, what are these guys doing here? Like, Leslie Frazier's way too smart for that. But by the way, John, we want to mention Leslie Frazier's name in the head coaching mix. Before, I'm like, I like Leslie Frazier, but he had his chance as a head coach, and it didn't go. You were in Minnesota, right? When I don't think it went that well the first time.
But you can learn. I mean, you can learn. Jamar Chase as well. Like, who doesn't know Jamar Chase is getting the ball in that type of situation? It's as great as a day as it was for entertainment and drama, as great as a weekend. It was that bad of a weekend for a lot of these defensive coaches late in games specifically. Situational football. That's all what coaches talk about. Situational football. And every time a big situation comes up, they're doing the wrong thing. It's pretty amazing. But let's shift it to Sunday, because I think Sunday was, two unbelievable. Kansas City, Buffalo. That's the headliner. That's one of the greatest games of all time. 27-3. What are you thinking about? Rams, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can't block. No Tristan Wirfs. By the way, one player. Think about the Eagles offensive line, Eagles fans. We got to get some Eagles references in. They lose one player. Granted, a really good player. They completely fall apart. But here comes Tom Brady. What was your thought process at 27-3?
Just don't turn the football over. Don't make stupid mistakes. Don't fumble the football. And Tom Brady doesn't have a chance to win that game. And Cam Akers fumbles the ball. By the way, Cam Akers getting the ball 27 times is a travesty when Sony Michel got you there. And for him to fumble that ball with under 2 minutes left is criminal. But then the whole bot snap and Matthew Stafford thing, there's just a calamity of error. And then a 47-yard field goal that was short in today's NFL. Matt Gay's a good kicker.
Yes, he's a Pro Bowl kicker. But he was hurt.
I would love to ask him, like, Matt, what happened? Was it just like, did you misjudge?
But I'll ask. Well, he is hurt, so I think he's not completely 100%. But so that as Tampa Bay, so you tie the game. All the momentum is in your hands, and the Rams have no timeouts, and you call a zero blitz. Another head coaching candidate. That's the only way this game's not going to overtime. And he said, hey, let's try this. I mean, this stuff is amazing to me.
So I had to watch that play about 4 or 5 times to see what went wrong. It was before I heard Arians' comments on it. Like, Levante David, shouldn't you be blitzing? You just kind of stood in the middle of the field.
Well, nobody knew it. Nobody knew. They didn't communicate it. And not only was it a bad call.
Safety on Cooper Kupp. I'm like, no wonder why Matthew Stafford completed a 40-yard pass to him. I'm thinking the same thing as you, McMullen. I'm like, wait, Todd Bowles, like, this is a guy that's highly revered right now. Like, if I'm him, I might just stay in Tampa and kind of ride the coattails a little bit with that defense.
He might not have a choice. And here's where I guess I kind of disagree with neither of you guys, but both of you guys. Several of these games, Kansas City and the both of the games yesterday, no timeouts left. You got to make an unbelievable play. Plus, you got to stop the clock. How do you not play the best wide receiver on the other team, specifically Cooper Kupp? I'm looking at in the Kansas City game. I'd probably specifically target Kelsey, because I'd be very careful trying to bump Tyreek Hill, because he could get by you so fast and get into the end zone so fast, it'd be a stupid play. But the other two guys, I'm getting my corner up, I'm getting my safety up. I'd even use a linebacker on Kelsey check him at the line of scrimmage. You're talking about seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds is the difference between the game being over or getting one last playoff. How do you not get up and make these guys work to get off the line of scrimmage? They gave Kelsey a free run. Yeah, go ahead, run right down the middle of the field, get 20 yards step, and be able to catch a ball and only use 4 seconds.
No one
That's
infuriated
just
me about
dumb.
that. No one infuriated me about that whole thing. They did a really good job of kind of slowing down Travis Kelsey throughout the game until that point. And then they just kind of let Travis Kelsey do whatever the heck he wanted. And this is the +1 pass defense in the end. Patrick Mahomes had more passing yards in the final 2 minutes in overtime against than what the Bills gave up the whole year. It's insane per game.
Jeff, they combined for nearly 300 passing yards in the final 2 minutes. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? By the way, you go back. I do want to bring this up for Eagles fans. You go back to the Rams game in the cover zero, the zero blitz, which we all know Eagles fans love blitz. Not in that situation. So Darius Slay, minutes after that, he tweeted, "Cover zero hurts again!" Exclamation point 3 times, trying to tell, I think, Eagles fans, look, blitzing ain't it in certain situations, and you just saw it manifest itself in real time. That was one of the worst defensive play calls I've ever seen in my life. Legitimately. I mean, I hate to pick on the guy, but that is unconscionable in that situation. When you have all the momentum, all you got to do is get the overtime.
It's absolutely insane. Like I don't and here's the thing: Sean McVay was ultra conservative.
Oh my God!
To that point,
yeah. It is unbelievable.
I loved it too, and I mean, look, we got to give a lot of credit to Matthew Stafford here. That is a hard throw to make.
Great. The throw before that was a really great throw.
It was. It's Matthew Stafford. By the way, did you guys happen to catch this last night? I didn't tweet it, but it was in the back of my mind. I got to go to the Chiefs game here. It took Patrick Mahomes 13 seconds to go 44 yards down the field, and the Dallas Cowboys can't
go 14. Yeah, can't go 14.
It was amazing. And the throw by Stafford, I'll tell you, I don't think it was that great a throw. He just threw it up for grabs. It was that great a
winner.
play.
Yeah, you throw it.
Avoided getting sacked as they were coming with the zero blitz. Cooper Kupp was wide open. He's being partially covered by his safety, not completely covered. Cooper Kupp had one of the greatest wide receiver years in the history of the National Football League. Oh, let's let him run free in the secondary and be wide open. It wasn't as much the throw as it was his read on the play, picked up the blitz, got it the hell out of there as soon as possible. He didn't need to make a great pass.
And speaking of, by the way,
great read, which is exactly what he did.
There are so many great throws lost in it all. The best throw of the weekend, 57 yards in the air, a freaking dime from Josh Allen in the air, 57 yards, and you couldn't have sent it FedEx and delivered it easier. I think it was Gabriel Davis.
It was Gabe Davis. Yeah, I got a lot of friends in Bills media, and we were talking after that game last night. They're trying to process everything I said. I'm looking at it as impartial here. I'm like, you guys might have 2 number 1 receivers and 1A to Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be in this position for the next decade. You're just going to be in that position. And they go, you're right. They said we beat and they're like, the Bills beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs. All they got to do is hold them with 13 seconds left. Like that loss might be the worst in Bills history. And keep in mind,
it's devastating.
Yeah,
devastating. The only reason, though, Jeff, I disagree with you. I don't know how Josh Allen stays healthy. I don't know long term how you.
The guy.
I know, but so was Cam Newton, and people would say the same thing. Ultimately, if you keep playing that way, you're going to get banged up. You're going to get banged up. As big and strong as he is, you're going to get banged up at some point.
Joel Embiid is a big guy too, and he keeps getting hurt. Just being big doesn't keep you from getting hurt. I think Johnny Mac's right on that one. But I'll give you one pass that I think was as good as Allen's. when Brady needed to. You talk about dropping a dime.
That was great.
Oh,
His
yeah.
touch pass to Evans over Ramsey on the play was
Yeah.
pretty damn good too. Now the Brady was good. The Bucks got back into the game because the Rams allowed them to by just fumbling. But Brady did take advantage, and the best pass that he threw was the one to Evans. Not even close to anything that Aaron Rodgers did on Saturday. He did not have a pass like that all game long. Everything he threw was off the wide receiver.
Aaron Rodgers had that game won. He missed Devonta Adams. I can't figure it out. Can this guy not play in the cold? He plays like Green Bay.
He's played a lot of good games in the cold.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have your A game. No doubt he didn't have his A game.
Or his B or his C game.
Yeah, he was not.
It was a D game by Aaron Rodgers.
I agree with you 100%, Jody. He just was not good. Like, all he needed to do was bring his B game, and I think the Packers are hosting the NFC Championship game.
I agree with all of that, but I can't get over the special teams guffaws. I can't. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. I don't care. Sometimes, when you have a quarterback that picks up garbage for 364 days a year, and you got to pick up him for one day with special teams and not great special teams play, blocking on kicks, you got to be able to do that. I'm sorry.
I understand what you're saying, John, and I know some fans hate when we do this, but it's the reality of the sport we're talking about. When the quarterback's making $40 million and the special teams guys are making $350,000 and you have a special team breakdown, it's kind of on the court. That's kind of his want in life when he cashes his check every week. That to take the team on his back and carry him. And Aaron Rodgers didn't do that this weekend.
I will say this. I bet the Packers would have liked to have a J.J. Arcega-Whiteside type player on those special teams. I mean, I always complain why he's here, but then you remember why he actually is here, because there is one thing he does half decent, and that's special teams.
I didn't think we'd get a J.J. reference. Well done, Jeff Kerr. Well done. That's the only time we're going to get a J.J. reference on playoff weekend.
Good for you, Jeff.
Well, he certainly isn't catching the ball on playoff weekend.
No. Yeah, but no, you're right. I mean, look, that's what we talk about. I went the coaching route. It's the same thing with coaches, and you guys have gone the quarterback route. They get more credit when you win, more blame when you lose. That's just the way they know it. That's part of it. But there are other aspects of the game. I'm one of those people. Look, I thought Tennessee was going to beat Cincinnati. I think, Jody, you picked Cincinnati because they had the better quarterback. It turned out to be correct. They certainly had the better quarterback. They won the game. But Tennessee should have won the game. There are other ways you can win a game. The Rams, nobody's going to sit here and say Matthew Stafford's better than Tom Brady. But the Rams got to pressure Tom Brady, and that's what won him the football game. And by the way, he almost came back to win anyway because of the mistakes. There are other ways to win football games. San Francisco 49ers, best example of that. They're the worst quarterback of the weekend by far. And they won their football game.
Hill was pretty bad.
Not as bad as Jimmy.
He only threw one pick. Hill threw three.
But awesome about
I've never seen so many bad throws where you just went, what is he doing? And the Packers should have picked off a couple more. A couple times Eric Stokes had his head down. Eric Stokes had a pick six in his grabs, and he's playing the receiver. He doesn't have his head up. He could have just caught it and walked in. It was an abysmal performance.
By the way,
Shanahan, MVP of the weekend.
The Packers got jobbed over the whole Rasul Douglas forced fumble thing. To me, that's a catch and a fumble. And
that was a catch. That was a fumble.
It was a catch and a fumble. And Rasul Douglas made an amazing play. I'll tell you one, I actually thought this changed the course of Jimmy G's game. When he hit George Kittle wide open.
Yeah, that was his best throw of the game. You're right. He lost confidence after that. He was looking okay.
By people by saying there's no excuse for George Kittle to drop that.
You're right. You're right. That was, and he completely lost confidence. You could see, this is my best player. He's wide open in the middle field. It was a great throw, and he just dropped it. You never see that from George Kittle. I agree with you. That really impacted.
Kittle did come back and make.
No, he came back and made.
He made a great.
Had to make that catch.
Yeah.
All right, let me get your take on this, Jeff and John. because I was ready to go up on this, and so much transpired afterwards, it got pushed to the back burner. We talk about the refs. We unfortunately have to talk about the refs. And I think the refs, I always think 9 out of 10, 19 out of 20 times I take the refs back because I think they've got a very hard job. And I think people
I take it 20 out of 20. I don't care. I don't care about the officials.
Did you watch the first half of that Tampa game? The
Yeah.
three
Of course I did.
unsportsmanlike conduct penalties?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? And Ndamukong Suh gets kicked in the you-know-what nether region by the quarterback because he's going down. He points it out to the referee. Now, he did use his finger, and you got to be smart enough to realize anytime you wag your finger, they've been throwing that stupid taunting flag all year, which I think is dumb, but he should have known it. But still, it's a playoff game. It's the divisional playoff game. You got to show some discretion if you're the referee. You keep that flag in your pocket. Then the guy on Tampa's coming off the field. He's about 4 feet from being on the sidelines. He takes off his helmet and throws it down. Again, a little discretion. By literally, was it a penalty? Yeah, it was. I don't care. It's away from it's not like a holding call in the middle of a play. Both of these penalties are after the play is over. And then the creme de la creme. Brady gets hit in the face. He's bleeding. He says to the referee, "Do you see that I'm bleeding?" He probably used the word that
couple expletives in there.
Sean Hockley, he said a couple disparaging remarks.
Understood. But again, it's the divisional playoffs. The play is over. It's not in the play. Excuse me, I'm getting worked up. It's after the play, and you throw a flag on the GOAT? Are you kidding me? Those were 3 of the worst penalties, and they all came in one half against the same team. I was ready to go nuts and go, what the hell are they? Is the fix in this game? I hate when people do that. Oh, it's all fixed. Everything's predetermined.
Yeah, but Jody, what do I always say? What I always say, and you've heard me say this before, everything you just said, you don't like the legislation. You admitted by the literal definition of the law, they're all penalties. Now, you say the GOAT and Tom Brady, and obviously so. To me, that's a bigger problem. If you're officiating games differently because Tom Brady is the GOAT and not giving anyone else the same deference, that to me is a bigger problem.
You guys heard what Tom Brady said this past week on his podcast, right? Did you guys hear about this?
About never getting unsportsmanlike?
Yeah, he never gets one. Yeah. He finally got one
because of the deference that people give him. He admitted that. Yeah,
I thought to myself Wednesday, I'm like, these guys are the official assignment on Tuesday, and Sean Hockley's the official. I guarantee you, he gets one Sunday. There was something in Vegas. I just would have bet $2 on it.
But 95% of the time, I say this all the time, Jody. You've heard me. People don't complain about the officials. They're complaining about the rules they don't like, which I agree with you. The helmet, who gives a rat's ass? But it's a penalty. It is. The legislation is stupid.
Let's call taunting the entire season. And back-to-back weeks, I got to see Tyreek Hill dance with pom-poms in the end zone and throw out the peace signs.
Yeah, but here's where I'm gonna. I understand. There's the call. There's the rules. That common sense at somewhere needs to come into it. If you want to light up Ndamukong Suh because he pointed the finger, I'll say lighten up, Leroy. But if you're gonna get fine, the guy took his helmet off. He threw it down. It was a mere matter of feet before the sideline. But if it's always in the field, he got.
Yeah, I hate
Tom Brady
the
is
rule.
bleeding.
I hate
you
the rule.
missed the fact that he got punched in the mouth or hit in the mouth. He's pointing out to you the fact that he's bleeding. And yes, he may have used some profanity. That's where I'm sorry. You have to have some discretion if you're the official. If you're going to be so legit, so focused on, I have to stick and adhere to the rules. The evidence that Tom Brady is bleeding tells me, okay, I missed that one. So maybe, just maybe, I hold on to my flag and not throw it on Brady for using the F word up and down.
I just blame because the taunting rule is stupid to begin with. I blame the league. I don't blame the guys that they're being told what to do because I'm on Nick, and I've given Nick Sirianni credit for this all year, and Jonathan Gannon as well. there's nothing you can do about it. So you just tell me the down the distance and move on to the next play. Control what you, how many times you hear coaches say that? Control what you can control. You're going to get screwed at some point by a bad call. There's nothing you can do about it. So I don't focus much attention. To me, when you have a bad rule, and the taunting rule is obviously a bad rule, and I'm pretty confident they're going to get rid of it after 1 year. That's the legislation. That's not the police officer giving you the citation. The rule sucks.
By the way, guys,
The law sucks.
have we discussed the overtime rule yet? I feel like this is going to be the first thing we talk about. And
yeah, I don't have a problem with that either because
I don't either.
Look, 13 seconds left. Go win the game. Go win the game. Everybody's devastated.
Last night, he goes, "Hit the ball 13 seconds. You know, we had to leave at 13 seconds left." He said, "You know, we lost coin toss." He goes, and you got to remember this: the Chiefs proposed to change this 3 years ago, and they were shot down. Oh, you're just bitter because you didn't get the ball in overtime. Well, here we go again. You know, it's again. I hope NFL fans realize this used to be worse. This used to be a lot worse. It was, no, they only had to go 40 yards and kick a field goal.
Yeah.
So at least
and I didn't have a problem with that either.
I didn't either.
There's no good
reason
because I don't know where you guys are, but I can't stand the college overtime rule.
Oh, it's stupid.
The 8 overtimes. I mean,
I was at the 9 overtime game this year.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, the change was better, and there is no perfect ending. All right, Jeff Kerr, for you, final question. We got yesterday's results. Are the Eagles closer or further away from being a legitimate contender because of the results we got yesterday? And I do note that there's a lot of talk and speculation about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, either or potentially walking away from the game, not going somewhere else, saying, all right, that's enough for me. Adios, bye. And those are two very important teams in the NFC who could be in the quarterback searching mode. But you did have the two winners, the Rams and the 49ers. Do you feel better about the Eagles' chances, knowing they're X amount away, but is it X a little bit closer than you thought before the weekend, or X even further away than you thought before the weekend?
After watching Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow this entire weekend, yeah. I do not like any Eagles' chances to win the Super Bowl in the next 5 to 10 years unless they get a quarterback like that. And look, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I think you should develop him, but how the heck are you going to beat Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow right now? In the
NFC, before we let you go, Jeff, because I want to get your thoughts on this. Are we going down an NBA route? Because I've seen it a bunch of times, and I don't want to focus on certain people, but there's certain media people and a couple of them, unless you find the Mahomes Allen type, it changes everything. Draft another one year after year after year. Are we in the position where we're just going to be looking for the one superstar quarterback that changes everything? And if you don't have it, you're stuck in this perpetual NBA like rotation of trying to chase the superstar. Because I think that would hurt the league. Where are you guys on that?
I think we're getting to that point, but the San Francisco 49ers can kind of give you some hope if they can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, by the way, they probably should have a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he sucked in the fourth quarter of Super Bowl 54. So, but again, I think teams are looking at the Kansas City Chiefs are not going anywhere with Patrick Mahomes. He has 6 playoff wins already. When he trails by 7 points, only Tom Brady has more. He's 26. Josh Allen's around. Joe Burrow's around. Matthew Stafford's still going to be in this problem. But I'll tell you what, if I was Russell Wilson, I think long and hard about it because some team's they're going to pay the piper for him just to have that opportunity to compete with those guys.
Here's what you got to root for, John, if you are looking to avoid the scenario you just laid out. Jimmy G to the rescue.
I love
49ers win the whole thing, and that puts the quarterback
by the way,
question on the back burner.
It's very early, Jody, but I'm leaning towards picking the 49ers in the championship.
They've
game.
only beaten the Rams 6 straight times.
Yeah, twice.
I mean, I have tremendous respect for Kyle Shanahan. I don't think there was a better head coach in football than Kyle Shanahan. I don't think there is.
That's a pretty good one in Kansas City.
Of that tree.
Yeah, and so yeah, you're right. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid. I'm being a little bit facetious, but as far as scheming, as far as preparation, I think he's at the top of his game. When you start talking about best, you got to throw longevity, success in there. But I think right now he's the best head coach in the NFL from a scheming standpoint.
Tree, Shanahan, that Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur tree, Shanahan runs circles around that. Oh
yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, and he's got by far the best defensive coordinator on the block too. And look, in DeMeco.
Yeah, and look who we had before DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, he had Robert Saleh. He
Saleh
lost before. He's lost everybody, and he still wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's pretty good. All right, Jeff Kerr, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for coming on, shooting the NFL breeze with us today. We're going to tap into your play during this long and winding off season. Thanks, bud.
Yeah, sounds great. I love talking NFL football. I was up till 3 o'clock last night breaking down that Chiefs Bills game, and I'm right back at it in about 2 seconds.
That is Jeff Kerr from CBSSports.com. Covers the NFL and jumps aboard when we need his services here on Birds 365. All right, McDonald and McMullen got an hour in the book, still an hour left to play. Rob Marty of the Associated Press joins us about 20 minutes from now here on Birds 365.